Paw'dCats Sports.
Hey yo! Top of the morning, Paw'dCats Nation. This ain't your average Farmageddon in 2025. This year, the Kitty Cats from K-State and Iowa State take their rivalry across the ocean. Just like Charles Lindbergh back in the 1920s, straight to the Emerald Isle. But I think he went to Paris. Yeah, this one's going to be played at Dublin's Aviva Stadium, and it's going to be echoing the roar of both the Wildcat and Cyclo fans. Yes, Cyclo. I think I mispronounced that. Cyclones? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, over to you, Allie, the Wildcat. What do you got for us this week?
Thank you, Benny the Wildcat. Today we're diving deep into the transatlantic turf war. From breakout stars to betting lines, from quarterback duels to Irish roots, we've got it all. So grab your lavender and your lucky shamrock. Let's get fierce.
Yes, sir. Farmageddon, a rivalry born in the heartland, now returns in Dublin, Ireland. Yes, we are not farming corn, nor are we farming wheat this season. Potatoes.
Farming potatoes.
Yes. Kansas State leads this all-time series, but as we know, the last couple seasons have been somewhat disappointing. Last season, of course, the Cats finished 9-4 on the heels of a rough November. And, of course, Iowa State finished off their season with a loss in the Big 12 title game. But a bowl win. Records don't mean much when you're playing on sacred soil, however, over in Ireland.
Was this Iowa State's first 10-win season?
Last season?
Yeah.
I do believe so.
First 11-win season then, too.
Correct. I think previously they had only won 9 games a couple times. One of those 9-win seasons was back in 2002 when they came to Manhattan and we beat Seneca Wallace. And that was that Bobby Walker 2-touchdown performance. Never forget that. That was an outstanding night at the Bill.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
All right, and let's not forget, this is the first ever ranked matchup played in Ireland.
It is.
Stakes sky high.
Very high.
Electric.
Lots of
the
aura.
Guinness flowing.
Optional
Guinness.
Yes, but just make sure when you get to Ireland, if you're one of those uber rich multi-thousandaires out there, and you can afford this trip, and maybe you don't have a job or something, work remotely. When you order your drinks, just be careful about how you order them. All right. Probably best not to order them the same way you do it at O'Malley's, for example. Just a word of advice before you dig yourself your own grave over there in Dublin.
Yeah, do not call them Belfast.
No.
Don't call them Irish car bombs.
No.
I may be a bit offended by calling it an Irish car bomb.
Don't do that. No, it's going to be a bad
Probably
trip.
should just say, give me a pint of Guinness with a shot of Jameson and a shot of Bailey's.
Yes, just whatever after that.
And then you can chug it as fast as you used to.
Careful how you articulate it to your local bartender at the neighborhood bars in the great city of Dublin, Ireland. Where are we heading with this episode, Alex? Tell us what we got. What's on deck?
We are going to start with the Wildcats, and we're going to start with who's going to be stepping up this season.
That's outstanding. No one really wants to talk about Iowa State, so let's start with the Cats, most definitely.
All right. So we're going to start off with QB Avery Johnson.
Yeah.
Dynamo.
Yeah, from our hometown. See.
Yes. Mays.
Love him.
Mays, Kansas.
Very excited for that debut. Well, this season.
Benny, do you think he can handle the pressure of an international spotlight?
Oh, absolutely. He can handle the pressure of an international spotlight. Avery Johnson was born and raised in the great city of Wichita, Kansas, out in the burbs anyway. If he was educated anything like we were, then he can absolutely handle it. And, of course, he shows tremendous poise when he's being looked at under the microscope during his press conferences, his pressers, and post games, and so on. So I have confidence that Avery's going to be able to command that offense and move down the field against this Cyclone defense, this 3-3-5 stack from Ames.
So he threw for 2,712 yards last season and 25 touchdowns, ran for 605 and 7 scores. So do you think his mobility will be the X factor against Iowa State's top-ranked pass defense?
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's, decision making is going to be important, and we have to take care of the football. But I think if we're going to win this game, we're going to win it on the ground. And Avery, he threw the ball 28 times last season up in Ames in that loss. I'd like to see that number closer to 20. And, hopefully we can spread out the carries with the backs. But we'll get to them here in just a little bit.
All right. One more question about Avery.
Yes.
One more.
Yes.
This is playing off, you said he only threw 20 passes?
No, I'm hoping that number is closer to 20. That means we're running the ball effectively. Yeah, last season he was 12 for 28 for 220. He did have 3 touchdowns in that game up in Ames, the 29-21 loss. No interceptions.
Yeah, so what I'm seeing here is he completed 43% of his passes in that game last year.
Correct.
What adjustments do you expect from him or from K-State's offensive scheme to help him break through this time?
Well, I'm no scheme expert, but like I said, I hope that we can run the ball effectively and then keep those attempts down. And he doesn't need to throw the ball for 300 yards to win the game. We just need that 0 in the INT column. And especially when we get down the red zone, either of the red zones, our own or theirs. We'll see. 220 yards can get it done. Last season, 3 touchdowns, no picks, up there in Ames. But I believe we had a couple other issues. Did we have a couple lost fumbles in that game? We did not. We did not fumble. This is ESPN.com stats. It says no K-State fumbles. So I thought we lost the turnover battle in that game.
Maybe not.
We could be mistaken. Anyway, Avery's going to respond. If Avery is what we think he is, he's going to respond fine. And we're going to win this game. I'll give you my prediction later, but we're going to win this game when Avery responds the way we know he can, and he will.
Yeah, I agree. I think Avery, if he just runs for a little over 50, gets that mobility, and then he can throw for like 200. We just need to see that improvement, I think, not making those mistakes over the middle, and we need our wide receivers to catch the ball.
Yeah, once we get down to the backs, I'll talk about Avery's rushing, but go ahead.
Yeah, and also I think you were right when you were talking about like he doesn't have to do a whole lot. If we can get Dylan Edwards and Joe Jackson to run the ball, at a good rate, then we should be all right.
Yeah, I think of those 20, 22 passes, 25 maybe at the most, the completions need to be on third down. And I think the team that moves the chains most often on third down is going to win this game. And, of course, all those other factors that always play into it, turnover battle, field position, time possession, etc.
And if we get that run game down on first and second down, and then we can, convert on third down with those passes, it just opens up for that long bomb on first down. Maybe we can take a shot here and there.
Yeah, you want to find yourself in a lot of second and third and shorts, and then you can open up that playbook. And if we can convert on third when it's third and short, or even a few third and longs, then we should be in good shape. Keep that ball out of Iowa State's hands. They did win the time possession battle last season, I think, by 10 minutes, 35-25, and that was an important part of their victory up there in Ames.
Yeah, our time of possession last year was a big detriment to us, so we need to get that fixed this season, and I think special teams will help with that.
Right, that's part of the overall scheme. The defense has to, of course, get the ball back in the offense's hands, and we can't let them, do what we're trying to do to them, pick up those third and shorts and move those chains and have long 12 to 15 play drives that last 8, 10, 12 minutes.
All right. Want to move to Dylan Edwards.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's our guy right there.
All right. Dylan Edwards, straight from Derby, Kansas.
Yep.
Our hometown. 546 rushing yards and 133 receiving yards last year, backing up DJ Giddens. Right. Do we think he will be posed to fill the shoes of DJ?
Absolutely, he will. I have no doubts. I love going back and watching a few of the highlights from the athletic department videos in the early 90s of his dad, Leon. He was one of those little, kind of scat backs we had back in the day, right after the foundation. I'm not sure if he was in the class of 89 or came in that year. I think he may have been 91, 92, but he in my mind, he started that tradition, and then it went on to J.J. Smith and several others, Hickson, Lawrence, etc. In the Bill Point 1.0 era. Yeah, Dylan Edwards is he's poised to be that guy, and we're ready to see him go over 1,000 and many more. I hope this season, starting in Dublin here in a couple days.
I don't remember much about his dad because I was a little baby.
Well, you may have remembered his reaction when he committed back in the gym, 3 years ago? I think his dad was pretty excited. Then we know what happened after that, but hey, he's in Manhattan now. Well, he's in Dublin, I hope. He'll be back in Manhattan soon. We'll see. Over 100 yards, 125 plus for Dylan, touchdown or two. We're going to win this game. I have no doubt.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, just his performance 2 years ago against TCU in that Colorado game, he had like over 300 yards, and this is a much bigger spotlight on national television. I think he can not necessarily replicate that, but, we're looking at hopefully over 100 yards. This kid is fast. He's an explosive player. He can get to the outside, and we saw last year, too, that he can even run the ball up the middle and just beat guys in the secondary.
Yeah,
Part of that.
Very excited to see him run the ball. How many carries you think he's going to have this game?
I think DJ Giddens was averaging like 18, so I'd like to see Dylan get anywhere from 10 to 15.
Yeah, I'm thinking around 15-ish, 13 to
12,
15.
13.
Spread the carries out, too, with our running back 2 and running back 3, of course. You want to talk about those two real quick?
Joe Jackson.
Yes, sir. Joe Jackson!
I've actually got a...
I got the soundboard. Big money.
Here's a good question for you for Joe Jackson. Do you think he can outperform Dylan Edwards?
I don't know enough about
year.
Joe Jackson. Don't know enough about him to make a good prediction on that. All I can say is stay tuned. Look for him to get maybe 4, 6, 8 carries at the most, I would say. We'll see how he performs. They're going to get these guys out in space, too. They're not going to just be handing off the ball to him. So we'll see how they get him out in the passing game, too, and get them involved. That'll be very exciting to see how Kleiman comes out. And of course, the OC, Matt Wells, see how they approach that.
Over or under 500 yards for Joe Jackson this season?
Wow, if he's over 500 and Dylan's over 1,000, that's great because we haven't even talked about Avery yet. So that would be a recipe for double-digit wins, I believe. Over 500 would be great. We're going to spread those carries out. We always do in this climate era. So we'll see. Stay tuned.
All right, let's move to our tight end room.
Oh, very exciting. Very exciting. Lots of depth.
We've got Garrett Oakley.
Yes, sir.
Braden Lofton.
2.
Will Swanson.
3.
Will Ancio.
Numero 4.
And 5-star Lincoln Cure.
And we
the most dynamic scoring tight end room in the nation last year. Fact. Can we improve in the red zone?
Oh, sorry, I interrupt there. Yes, very dynamic. No. Continue.
Can we improve in the red zone this year and stretch the secondary of Iowa State this game?
I was just going to say Lincoln Cure, 5 stars, 5 hearts, I hope. We'll see. I'd like to see him split out,
We don't care about 5 stars. We care about the hearts here.
We care about the hearts. He might be 5.5 stars and 6 hearts. We'll see. But I feel like the blocking tight ends, Lofton, Swanson, I don't know, Ancio might get in there a little bit, get that action. A lot of the targets probably going to go to Cure, and especially Oakley, of course. We'll see if Cure gets a lot of reps in this game. I anticipate he would. I don't see why he wouldn't. But Garrett Oakley, and Braden Lofton, Swanson, Ancio, all veterans, all returners, all have seen the end zone, the pay dirt. So this is one of the deepest tight end rooms that I can remember in the history of Kansas State football. very excited to see how we utilize these guys. Again, stay tuned.
Yeah, I think if Lincoln Cure's ready to go, which I've heard he is ready to go and he looks the part, he needs to be on the field, whether it's at tight end or wide receiver split out. Garrett Oakley and Lincoln Cure, Braden Lofton, I think will be the guys. But I can also see us in the red zone moving to like Will Ancio or Will Swanson to kind of trip up the other team.
We did have a lot of success in the red zone last season using those guys down there. So I would anticipate that would continue. You're right.
And these guys had 13 touchdowns last year, most in the nation, out of any tight end room. So that, I think, can only improve if Avery improves. So it'll be exciting to see what we do with these guys.
So if you have a Lincoln Cure and you're not reloading or rebuilding, what is that? Is that just building? Is it a fortress? I'm not sure.
That's a fortress.
It's a fortress.
Like BSFS Castle Fortress of tight ends.
Yeah, just put one tight end in every corner, and one on the field. Unstoppable. Hey, but we're in Dublin, man. We're not in Manhattan yet. Calm down. Okay. We'll taste those new concessions soon, and we'll talk about them.
There are castles and fortresses in Ireland.
Yes.
And the tight end room for K-State will be one of them.
Is there a White Castle in Ireland?
I don't think so.
Dang it. Love those sliders.
There could be. I don't know.
Yeah. St. Louis, Missouri, man. White Castle.
That originated in Wichita. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. I think the first time I ate it was in St. Louis. Not great. Can't lie. Didn't they sell them at the grocery store for a while?
Yes, I think they still do.
Frozen ones, disgusting. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Do not recommend.
No. So tight ends, let's get after it. Obviously very intrigued, just like any of these other categories. But we didn't really talk about Avery running the ball. You want to talk about that before we move forward?
Yeah, let me see here what Avery's stats last year were for running the ball. It's looking like 113 attempts for 605 yards, 46 and a half per game, 7 touchdowns.
Wonder how that compares to, say, L. Roberson's sophomore year. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, look that up. I think if he's averaging 46 and a half last year, we probably want him to average 50 to 60. We don't need a huge jump there because ultimately we want him to be throwing the ball more efficiently. We want his passing average to move up from 208 to 250. If he's moving from 208 to 250, that's a huge jump. I don't think he'll need to pass the ball as much or run the ball as much. I also think that's going to open up for him to get some more explosive runs this year.
Yeah,
so
we
20 plus
sure
yard
could
runs.
use it. No doubt. I went to that Oklahoma State game up in Manhattan last year, and he had a pretty impressive touchdown run down there in the Shamrock South end zone. So that was exciting. We could use a lot more of those. And I think he's a little hesitant maybe to just put the ball down, run when he sees those lanes. He was still trying to get through his reads. So once he becomes a little more decisive, I think he'll hit some more explosive runs, and hopefully one of those will be down in Dublin. What's the longest touchdown run in the history of K-State football by a quarterback? Do you know? We just mentioned him.
L. Roberson against Texas.
Mm-hmm. You had Roberson right. Yes.
I remember, I think he ran one against Texas. It was like 90 or 80 or 75 or something like that, a long one.
2002 at home. Late in the season.
Late in the season, so not against a non-con team?
It was conference. Big 12 North.
Nebraska?
It was Nebraska. I believe that. I think it was right up the middle, and he de-pantsed one of the defenders on the black shirts defense. Just kind of like Deuce Vaughn did in that Big 12 game a couple years back. And I think it was 98 yards. It was over 90. I'd have to look at the exact amount. But if I'm not mistaken, that is the longest touchdown run by a quarterback in Kansas State football history. Almost got tackled at the one. He barely made it to the end zone, and man, he was gassed when he got there. He was struggling on the way back to the sideline. So we'll see if maybe Avery can bust one.
And I think Avery's capable of doing that, but I just hope we're not on the 2-yard line.
Yeah, I hope.
I think
have to start any drives inside our own 5. That'd be rough.
I think a 75-yard is more reasonable, especially if he opens up his passing game.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that Iowa State, front 7 reacts to the myriad of runs we're going to throw their way. No doubt, first part of this game. So maybe he'll find a gap and bust loose. Would love to see it.
All right, do we want to move on to the Cyclones?
Before we do, we haven't mentioned any of our wide receivers or our defense. Do you want to do that first, or?
Wide receivers, and then defense will be a little later. So, wide receivers, what are you thinking?
Well, obviously, Jace Brown is our number one, is our wide receiver 1. He's got the best rapport with the quarterback, and he's going to get the majority of the targets out wide. Again, really interested to see how we're going to utilize him. A lot of his big plays last year were just on fly routes. And, you think of that touchdown catch at Colorado, for example. There were a few others that slipped my mind, but he's going to get most of the targets, no doubt. And maybe one day we'll see Sterling Lockett, but he's behind him on the depth chart right now. So, again, stay tuned. We'll see how it plays out. It's nice to know that we got a Lockett in our back pocket.
Got a Lockett in your pocket. Lockett.
Can you cue the cat sound on that one? It's nice to know we got a Lockett in our pocket. Wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, Jerron Tibbs, Jaron Bradley. You want to talk about those guys? You know more about them than I do. Please.
So we've got Jaron Bradley and Jaron Tibbs.
Is there?
I don't know which one is from where. One's from Purdue and the other is from... So it looks like Jaron Tibbs came from Purdue. Jaron Tibbs from Purdue.
Purdue, 212 pounds, 6'2". Indianapolis, Indiana, Cathedral High School.
305 yards last year, but Purdue was terrible.
He's got this great headshot on our lads, man. He's got his cross right there on his neck. But that is a Purdue shirt, Purdue polo. And we got to get that fixed.
And then we got Jaron Bradley, who played for Texas Tech in 2023. He had a decent season, 431 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then he played at Boston College last year, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I would have got out of Lubbock as fast as possible, too. So welcome to Manhattan.
So look, with these guys, we don't need them to be great. We need them to
What
be
do we
consistent.
need from them? Yeah,
We need them to be consistent.
Explain what we mean by consistency. What do we need out of these wide receiver 2 and 3s?
Last year, we were one of the worst teams when it came to drop passes. I think, I couldn't tell you how many drop passes, but we were one of the worst teams when it came to drop passes. And that leads to some of those Avery Johnson mistakes. It seemed like last year, a lot of these guys were running the wrong routes as well. So this year, the consistency just needs to be run the correct routes, get your blocks down, catch the ball, please.
Show the diamond.
Wide receiver.
See ball into diamond.
And I've heard a lot of analysts like on the other networks, right, say that we need them to kind of be like Cade Warner. If we can have these guys get 400 or 500 yards this year, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and I think a big part of your role is, the wide receiver 2 and 3 is blocking on the edges for our run schemes, and that's not something that gets a lot of thank yous or a lot of attention, but it's extremely important. I think some of the best receivers that you see blocking downfield are some of the best receivers we've had in our history. Guys like Quincy Morgan, and I think back to 2012 with Harper. These guys were great at this, and if they can build that rapport, that's always the question between the receivers and the quarterback. It's tough. to be able to do that quickly, transferring in. We'll see if they can all get this on the same page and link it together, that receiver group and Avery. If they can, and we can be consistent, like you mentioned, and disciplined.
Look, these guys are big.
Yeah,
I
like the size. I like the size. Yeah, we've been lacking size at wide receiver, height wise. Anyway, maybe not weight wise, but yeah, to have a couple guys that are 6'2", 6'3". You think back to like Darnell McDonald, he was 6'4", 6'5", and I think Quincy Morgan was 6'3". So we need that size. We need to have at least one physical wide receiver out there opposite Jace.
So we have Sterling Lockett behind Jace Brown.
Yeah.
We know, I think, that Sterling Lockett will be returning punts, but Dylan Edwards may be the main guy. Dylan Edwards will be back there, but we also may not want him to get hurt.
Yeah, we'll see if they share those returns, the kick returns and the punt returns. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have two guys sharing that responsibility, and you're gonna have to have two back anyway. So from time to time, on the punts and of course the kickoffs. So we'll see how that plays out, but look for Dylan Edwards to get the initial punt returns and kick returns, no doubt.
And look, I think a sleeper here is going to be Caleb Medford. Don't forget this guy.
Yes,
he's behind Jaron Bradley, but I think he's going to see a lot of time. 2023, 551 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last year, 336 yards, 3 touchdowns. He played for the New Mexico Lobos.
I love New Mexico, man. I love the Lobos. I want to go see a basketball game in the pit one day. Love it. Welcome to Manhattan, Caleb. Now, we're using ourlads.com for our depth chart. So if any of this information is erroneous, don't come at us with the pitchforks. We're just spitballing here, people. Getting you to think a little bit about things other than your Guinness, okay?
And then I've heard a lot of good things about Larry Porter, the fourth. Not the first, not the second, not the third, the fourth. Freshman.
Nice.
Freshman. Larry Porter, the fourth. I've heard good things. May not see him on the field a lot, but in the future, may have to worry about this guy.
Hey, we have our fourth Lockett playing for us right now, so maybe he will see the field soon.
I hope so.
Stay tuned.
Maybe he'll have the luck of the Irish.
Yeah, the luck of the Irish, lad.
Other than that, I haven't heard much about any other guys. Jack Spradley Demps, I've heard a little bit about. Redshirt freshman. Look out for him maybe in the future, but we're just spitballing, right? These could be guys that may not even be on the team next year.
Rabbit hole for sure.
Yep.
We're talking third string. Let's go ahead and move on to the offensive line. Can we do that before we go over to Iowa State for a minute?
Yeah, offensive line. What are you thinking about our offensive line, Ben?
Suspect. We have issues for sure. George Fitzpatrick transferred from Ohio State, had a medical issue and earlier in camp, and that doesn't bode well, of course. We're going to find out quick because I would imagine that we're going to try to run this ball 30 times or more this game, maybe even closer to 40 if we have any success. And it's going to be up to those guys up front. Will they be able to execute their assignments and win those battles in the trenches? We'll see. What are your thoughts?
I know you say suspect, but when I'm looking at this depth chart, right, without George Fitzpatrick, that does suck, right? That's bad, and prayers up for him, hoping he recovers.
No doubt.
I don't even know if he'll make the trip. I don't know if that would be in his best interest, but we'll see.
Yeah, if he makes a trip, that's great. But obviously, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes with the medical issue, and that's fine. That's between him and the team and his family. So just wish him the best, man.
But we got
who we got coming in. Who's coming in at left tackle? Can you maybe give us a heads up? What's going to happen there?
Ooh, we've got a few guys, and offensive line is where we can move a lot of pieces here. This is why I'm not as worried. But we've got Andrew Langang. I think he's a critical piece to this offensive line. We need him to improve. We need him to play the way that, we think he can play.
I agree.
Sam Hecht, center, could be one of the better centers in the entire country, so that's good. I think it's either Portier or Pastore. It has a lot of injury history, so we need them to stay healthy. But the depth here is really good. We've heard really, really good things about JB Nelson from Penn State fans, saying he's just a dude.
Excited.
Amos Talalale.
Yeah. Famous Amos.
Heavy boy, big boy. He's got the beef. He's like 328. Famous Amos.
Amos.
And then we got like Terrence Enos, Michael Capria, Gus Hawkins, some guys that may need to step up at some point. I think the health here is very important, but I think Talalale and JB Nelson are going to have a huge impact. We got over 1,500 pounds on this low line. We got the beef.
A lot of beef. The right side looks strong. I'm going to be looking at the left side to see how they hold up. So, in light of the medical issue and the left guard, see how they plug that hole and fill that gap. So that's going to be an important factor.
Do we want to move to Iowa State?
Not really. Why would you want to move to Ames, man? Why would you do that?
Never. Well,
I get it.
Same thing about Kansas.
Real estate's cheap, plentiful corn. EF5 tornadoes, pass. Suspect people, no doubt. Much more suspect than the left side of the offensive line. You ever been to Iowa, man?
Yeah.
You ever been there?
Yeah, not to Ames. I've been to the Field of Dreams with you.
Nice. Dyersville. Good times. Got to drive through Iowa to get to Chicago. Go see the Cubs play. All right, Iowa State. What about them? Do we have to?
This is you. Ask me the questions. Let's go.
Well, we have to talk about, of course, Rocco Becht. Rocco Becht.
Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh, what a classic show. Was on Nickelodeon back in the day?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, he was great last year. His numbers were marginally better than Avery's by comparison. You think he's going to improve this year? What do you think his outlook is?
I think he's a good quarterback. It comes down to their wide receivers, and everybody's been talking about this. They don't have Jaden Higgins. They don't have Jaden Noel. He's good. It depends on Xavier Townsend, Daniel Jackson, and then Chase Sowell.
Yeah, those are their top three.
Looking at his stats from last year, passing 271 for 456, 59.4 completion percentage, 3,505 yards, 25 TDs, so just as many touchdown passes with a lot more passes. Yeah.
One less pick.
80 more passes.
More yards, one extra game.
But one less pick, which is good. He had 9 interceptions compared to Avery's 10. But like I said, if we cut down on those drop passes, I think that's going to change. 250 yards per game. So, I don't see, without those two guys in this first game, them really being able to throw the ball all over us. But that also comes down to our defense, which we'll cover later.
Yeah, nor do I think it'll be their plan to throw the ball over the field. Similar to, I think, schematically, both teams are going to approach this game the same way. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I don't expect a high volume of passes. But with that being said, probably want to prepare for that because maybe that's what Iowa State's going to try to do to us. We aren't expecting it, so
we could do the same thing.
We'll get to our defense soon. But yeah, those numbers for Rocco Becht are marginally better than Avery's. Like I said, he did have that extra game, which I think he had 500 or 600 extra yards, more yards than Avery. But they did play 14 games. We played 13. Might have been 400 or 500, closer to there. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on those wide receivers. Are they transfers? Are they all new? One got injured, right, or redshirted last year, and now he's returning.
Receiving Chase Sowell, maybe. No, these guys I think are all new. Yeah, Daniel Jackson is returning.
Yeah, he's the red shirt, right? Townsend's used his red shirt. He's red shirt junior. So I think one of those guys maybe played 4 games and last season and then didn't.
Maybe Jalen Jackson is his name.
We'll see. I don't think Rocco Beck's going to throw the ball more than 30 times. I'd be surprised if he did, unless they're playing from way behind.
Probably not.
I hope they're playing from way behind. I hope he's throwing picks in the third and fourth quarter because they're down 20.
It'd be nice.
That'd be great. I would drink lots of water if we were up by 20 and he was throwing picks. Stay hydrated, my friends. What's next on the Iowa State Cyclone?
Abu Sama, explosive.
Abu Sama. He is.
Can he be a game changer in this
He can
game?
absolutely be a game changer. He has been in the past, and he could potentially be one in the future. Hopefully not until week 2 or 3, but yeah, absolutely, he can be a game changer, no doubt.
So these guys, they have Abu Sama and they have Carson Hansen.
Yes, sir.
We got to remember that snow game a couple years ago. Abu Sama kind of exploded on the scene.
Do we have to? Do we have to remember that?
No, we don't have to.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. We were down. We lost our chance at the Big 12. So.
I got 10-9 on back here. So I want to. Maybe we could do that again. 10-9 in Dublin.
I don't want 10-9. I want 30-9.
What? I want 90-0. Tell me about Carson Hansen. What's he going to do?
So Carson Hansen, 151 attempts, 752 yards last year, 13 TDs. This is their guy. I think Austin Romaine's going to shut them down, though. They're going to run the ball a lot. Their game plan's going to be like ours, I feel like, just run the ball. It's going to be the same thing. These teams look very similar on paper, with the transfers at wide receiver, with the running back depth, except their tight end room is not as deep as ours. So we just got to look out for Carson Hansen, and we cannot give up any explosive plays to Abu Sama either, because Abu Sama is capable of doing that. He had 587 yards last year, only 2 touchdowns. So they got a good 1-2 punch.
You mentioned that snow game, and it felt like at times that the defense had just given up on some of those explosive plays.
Yeah, especially Lee.
That was rough. But Abu Sama, the attention's on him. We mentioned the RB1 might be worth keeping a closer eye on him. Of course, we're talking about Carson Hansen.
All right, next guys.
What do we got? Defense gonna win this game or what? The offense.
Jaden Higgins and Jaden Noel not on the team anymore.
Nope.
So who will Rocco throw to?
Yeah. Who's Rocco going to throw to?
Rocco's modern line. It's looking like to me on paper that Chase Sowell is their guy from East Carolina. His first season was at Colorado with Dylan Edwards.
Right. Is he going to replace Jaden Noel?
I don't think so, right? Because these are Jaden Noel and Jaden Higgins, 2 NFL draft guys. They're going to be having good careers in the NFL. I think they'll be good, right? But remember, this is the first game. So Chase Sowell, and then Xavier Townsend is the other guy.
Right.
Played for UCF.
Is he going to step up and replace Higgins' production, you think?
I think these guys could have like 700-800 yard seasons. If one of them has 1,000-yard season and then another has 800 and then their third guy has 400 or 500, that could be a recipe for meeting back up with them in the Big 12 championship. I think they're going to be really good. I just don't think that the first game of the year, the start of the season, they don't play very well. And I think they're going to have to grow into their wins.
Yeah, I think that's the same situation on our side with our offense and the team that can, if either one of these teams has a 1,000-yard receiver and a second one that's anywhere close to that, and they run the ball like we expect they will, then those teams are going to, us or them, they're going to have double-digit wins this season, 10 or 11, no doubt. If you have a couple 1,000-yard receivers or close to it and 1,000-yard back, with an explosive quarterback, which both these guys have the potential to be, 10-win seasons for sure. And strong possibility the loser of this game wins out and ends up in the Big 12 championship game with a rematch.
Yeah, exactly. If you look at Iowa State's their schedule, it's it's manageable, and I think K State's is very very manageable as well. So there is a good chance I actually do have Iowa State playing Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Farmageddon Part 2 from
Be
Dublin
cool.
to Dallas. Let's talk trenches, man. Who's got the edge? Offensive line. Let's just go our offensive line against theirs. And then we'll flip that. Their offensive line against our D front. Let's get into the trenches, man. What do we got?
I think we got the edge on offensive line, 1,500 to 1,600 pounds of beef, depending on who's on the field.
It's what's for dinner.
I really think, man, that Amos Talalale.
Famous Amos?
I think he's gonna be good. That's just me. I really like that guy. He's big. Haven't seen anything from him, right? But
You watch his video? Have you seen it?
have not seen his video.
I have not either, but we'll see that video on Saturday.
Yes, we will see that video on
We will
Saturday.
know by 3:00 Saturday, Central Time, not Dublin time.
And like I said, we've heard a lot of good things about JB Nelson too. So I think this offensive line is going to be a lot better than people think, as long as they mesh and gel well. And then hopefully, if we get Fitzpatrick back later on in the season, could be great. We just gotta keep Avery safe back there.
Yeah, no doubt. I think our defensive line is going to have the edge in this game, and I think that's going to be the difference. I think our offensive line is going to hold up, and I think we have the advantage up front on defense. So we'll put some pressure on Rocco Beck. Hopefully he doesn't gel too well with those receivers. And our defensive line. I'm looking forward to the freeze frame sec.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen it in a
Austin
while.
Sunday.
Give me
I
one
will
time.
say,
Need it one time. One time.
I will say
Toby.
Iowa
One time,
State.
Toby. One time.
I will say Iowa State's offensive line has a lot of experience. It looks like they've got 5 guys that are seniors, and then or 3 guys that are seniors, 2 that are juniors, and then backing them up, 2 more seniors.
Hey, man,
And
the
another
Clandy man
sophomore.
can. The Clandy man can. He's going to scheme him up. We're going to throw a lot of stunts, and blitzes, and well-disguised zones. And we're gonna get after it, man. We're going to own them in the trenches on the defensive side.
Oh yeah, I believe so too.
Yes. Peace be with you, defensive front. It's up to you. Forced fumbles, sacks, game-changing plays.
When I went to that Tulane game, we sat like there. There's not a lot of people out there at that game at Tulane, and on the sideline, Chidi Obiezor, he is huge, man.
Chitty.
Tall, he is big. So if he can play the way his size indicates, then we're gonna be fine. Eli Leo, great. Stufflebean,
Stuffing it.
experience, right? And then we have
4th and
Austin
1.
Tommy.
Stuff it.
So we got guys, Jordan Allen, even, who's listed as 3rd string from our lads, but I've heard a lot of good things about him. He's a big guy too. I want to see the freeze frame just like you, Austin Somney.
I just realized this is pretty appropriate. We're getting this information from ourladdies.com.
Yes, our lads.
We're going to Dublin, boys.
Okay, let's move on
Yeah,
to
let's move
K-State's
Keep this ball rolling.
linebacker corps.
I think it's
K-State's
pronounced
linebacker
core. I think it's pronounced core, man.
corps.
Yes, it's silent. It's like Illinois or Des Moines.
All right, K-State's linebacker corps might be the best unit on the field. Austin Romaine, Desmond Purnell, tackling machines.
That was a bold and daring statement.
Austin Romaine, 56 solo tackles last year, 42 assisted, 96 total, 2 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles last
Tell
year.
me more. Tell me more. Love it.
Regarded as one of the best in the nation this year.
He's going to
This
slice
is a
him
guy I
up.
remember.
Romaine lettuce. Slice him up.
Yes. I remember this guy being talked about 2 years ago by other players on the team, saying he's a dog as a freshman.
Oof, he's a dog.
Which is the same kind of thing I'm hearing about Larry Porter.
Larry Porter, also a
But that's
dog.
on offense.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
Well, our linebacking core is going to be very exciting to watch. Obviously, we're going to be in the 3-3 stack. We're going to walk up those an outside backer from time to time on the strong side. We'll see how they fill the holes. They're going to be tested early and often. So, Romaine, quarterback of that front, keep them on the same page, and let's shut them down. Sama, and of course your boy.
The thing that I really, really love about this team is I think we have a leader on each level, or about this defense. I think we have a leader on each level.
I would agree.
We've got Austin Romaine in the linebacker level. We've got VJ Payne at the secondary level, and then up front, we have Codal Stufflebean, who I think was in on that drive. Codal? Did I say Codal?
No, it's
Cody Stufflebean.
You're good. Codal.
Cody Stufflebean, who
Colin Codal.
Was he in on the goal line against TCU?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So a lot of experience, a lot of leadership. I think that's going to help a lot when it comes to, bringing those transfers in and helping them feel comfortable. Which last year, I like Marquise Siegel, but I don't think he had that leadership dog in him. Nothing against Siegel. Love Siegel.
Tell me about your boy, since we're going back to the secondary. Tell me about him.
VJ Payne.
Bring the pain.
Bring the pain.
Oh!
So VJ Payne, he's part of the 23-mile-per-hour club.
Our
boy.
I like it. I can't even drive my car that fast sometimes. Some wrong transmission.
He'd get pulled over in a school zone, for sure.
Yeah, get a warning, I hope.
Yeah, hopefully just a warning.
Yep.
Second in tackles last year. He had 39 solo tackles, 25 assisted tackles, 64 total combined, 4 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions for 24 yards.
I'm
so
cooking,
I think
man.
with VJ Payne,
I'm VJ Payne. I'm cooking.
I think we want to see maybe a couple more interceptions out of him, more tackles. But I think we really just need him to command that defense with these new guys coming in like Gunnar Maldonado and Jaden Rowe, right? I think he's on the team now.
Right. And
will be in there.
The tackle he had last season, chasing down the KU quarterback, who I'd mentioned his name, but, that'd be sacrilegious. But that tackle from behind, he never gave up on that play, and that was huge, man. VJ Payne, he's going to get more interceptions, I think. You mentioned that. He will if the defensive front can get the job done, because it's going to force teams into desperate situations late in games, and he's a good center fielder out there. He'll be able to step up and pick off a pass just like he did in the end zone at Tulane last season.
And when you're looking for him out there on the field, it's no longer number 18.
No, switch numbers.
We have a long history of good number 7s. So He will be wearing number 7 this year. I love it.
Was Danzel McDaniel number 7?
Yes, sir.
I love Danzel McDaniel. Never forget that pick 6 down in Norman. Talk to me about the corners, man. What do we got?
We've got a few guys. Donovan McIntosh. I'm high on McIntosh. I think he's done good things when he's
not
been
a Microsoft on the field. Guy. Not a Microsoft guy.
And McAllister, who's going to be a safety. He's a safety, yes. So that's going to be the law firm of McAllister and McIntosh.
Yeah, he's got experience.
But I'm looking at Amarion Fortenberry. He's a transfer. I think he is going to have a lot of time as well.
Number 0.
Jaden Rowe from Alabama.
Yes, sir. Numero
I think he's going to get a lot of time. And look, this team, you're not going to see the cornerbacks. I don't think you're going to see like anything crazy, anything special. They're going to do their job. This defensive side, same way. They're just going to do their job. And I think we have the depth to back it up this year.
Yes, the depth looks good, just with a quick glance at the 2 deep. And Jaden Rowe is numero 1 which always reminds me of a great safety from back in the day, back in the late 90s, Bill Point 10 era. Who is it?
You asked me this yesterday.
I
Chapman.
did. Yes, Lamar Chapman, one of my favorite players in Kansas State history. Shout out Lamar Chapman, Liberal Kansas.
I think if we're looking at any guy that's gonna, break out and be really good this year, it's Zayshawn Rich. He showed some good things in that guaranteed rate bowl last year. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
We'll see where Rocco Becht is at. We'll see if he's throwing the ball these guys' way, which I think they will be.
Rocco Becht.
This is probably where they're circling on their depth chart where we may have some weakness.
Yeah, I'd like to see how we're going to disguise those coverages, and maybe we can slide underneath some underneath routes for some pick sixes. That would be a thing of beauty. Right up to the end of the rainbow, lad. Yeah, find the pot of gold.
All right, let's move on to safeties.
Is there?
What do you got for safeties?
2 points, I believe. Safeties, we talked about VJ Payne.
He's the man. Great
He is.
leader.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a great leader. I think he's an NFL guy.
A little bit about the depth. Wesley Fair's got experience. Jack Fabris. So that's exciting. Fabris had that recovery for a touchdown down there at Tulane. You saw that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Special
That was
teams,
awesome.
too, I believe. Special teams important. But, yeah, that's about all I got on the defense. So let's go, mob. Mob deep, ball hard. Let's roll.
Yeah, I think we need Colby McAllister to step up. I think Gunnar Maldonado is good. Once he's healthy, he's gonna be fine. It's Wesley Fair. I think we need to step up. I've heard a lot of good stuff from the freshman Logan Bartley as well. They're saying he's a dude,
Nice.
he's a dog, and he's big as well. So if he can get off on the field and get some time and experience and be that guy for us, that would be amazing.
Well, let's go ahead and move forward here. Let's, crunch some numbers.
Yes, sir.
You want to go over those real quick, and we'll just wrap this up here in the next 5 or 10.
Yep.
Start with the
K-State.
K-State offense. Yeah, tell me about the offense.
K-State's offense, 31 points per game last year, 215.5 rush per game, 211 pass yards per game. So pretty even there. We got Iowa State's offense from last year, 31.9 points per game, 160 rush per game, 255 yards passing per game.
So better through the air than us, but our ground
Significantly worse rushing.
Right. Rocco Becht, I remember, did have to throw the ball quite a bit in certain
And
games.
I think those numbers are going to even out. I think that they have, those two returning guys, so they can maybe push those numbers up. And then K-State, may go a little down without DJ at force. But who knows? We could have games where we have 300 rushing yards.
Yeah,
and
now
we could have games where we have 100 and some.
looking at those stats, maybe Iowa State will open up the offense a little bit and throw the ball around the field a little bit and test our secondary. So, I feel like they're going to try to establish a run like all teams would, but maybe they'll come out firing. We'll see. Rocco Becht, slightly better with the pass than Avery at this point. So hopefully by the end of the season, we'll flip the script on that one.
Yeah, I'd like to see 250 yards passing per game and then, closer to maybe 190.
I think
rushing.
if we hit the 200 mark in both categories, we should win the game. That puts us over 400 yards of offense, and I think our defense is going to hold these guys closer to 3. So we'll see. Let's go over to the Iowa State defense. What do we got there? 22.9 points per game?
Yes, 22.9 points per game, 188 rush yards per game allowed, 158 pass yards per game allowed. And then Kansas State's defense, 23.4 points per game allowed, 118 rush yards per game allowed last year, and 209 pass yards per game allowed last year.
I think these stats indicate to me that if we can win this time of possession battle and establish the run, then we should have a great chance to overcome the Iowa State defense. The
Yeah,
turnover
and
margin, though, is going to be huge. The turnover margin, no doubt. Tell me about the Iowa State defense and how that turnover margin is going to play into it.
yeah, so Iowa State's defense, right? They're giving up rush yards. So this plays well into Dylan Edwards, but only 158 passing yards per game allowed. So it's kind of flipped of what you said. I think if they establish that passing game against us, then they have a really good shot to win. And if, they limit our running, which is something that they have to do, then it'll be good for them. But like you said, turnovers, K-State was -1 last year. Iowa State was +9. And this is the difference between a Big 12 title contender and not, right? If we go +9, our time of possession is going to be better. Where we start on the field is going to be better. And we probably win a couple more games.
I agree. And I think that 158 pass yards given up by the Iowa State defense per game last season may be more just indicative of the style of play and how they control the ball, so on and so forth. So it may just be more of a symptom of the scheme as opposed to them actually being great in the secondary. But we'll see. Let's see if Avery and Jace can link up and hit a big strike.
Translation: if K-State protects the ball and controls tempo, they win. But if Iowa State forces chaos, it's anyone's game.
I agree with that 100%. If we lose the turnover battle, we're in trouble. We're going to lose the time of possession. We're not going to be able to establish the run, and then Avery's got to throw the ball 30, 35 times, and that's not what we want.
All right, let's move on to the betting lines and predictions.
Yes, of course, degenerates. I love it. What
do you got, Benny?
I haven't bet anything yet, but I did just hear that Prize Picks has Avery. Can you tell us about that?
We're here for one
Yeah, he
reason
has
and one
0.5
reason
pass
only.
yards.
What are they calling this?
The Dublin
You know what
Dub.
that
The Dublin Dub. What starts with W?
To win, Coach
Win.
O'Ryan, sir.
And?
No. To work. And it all begins with defense. Offense and defense. It's going to take one thing. Starts with a W. To work, Coach O'Ryan, sir. Wrong.
Will.
And?
It's going to take real
Win.
will.
Wildcats.
Wildcats.
Roar. Hey, man, but in Ireland, anything can happen. Vegas has K-State favored by 3. That's -3 for the kids who are learning how to gamble. Over and under 49.5. By the way, kids, don't gamble. It's 21 means 21, all right? Over and under just, combined points, 49.5. Do you think this game will have 50 combined points?
I obviously like K-State by 3.
Mm-hmm.
Over or under, I want to say under, based on the defensive performances. But first game of the year, we can't go under. You ain't living life unless you hit the over.
Hey, give me the 2-banger, man. I'm going to take the Cats on the money line, and I'm gonna go under 49.5 on that. So
I think I would go over. I just see like a 31-28 in this game. I can see some sloppiness with being on the field because the weather, there's a 35% chance of rain.
So it might be a little rainy up there.
Does rain out there, I could see some sloppiness.
Will we see a rainbow?
Ooh.
Will we see a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow?
But it's supposed to be a nice day, cloudy, 60 to 71 degrees. The crowd is probably going to be split. The conditions could be slick.
You bring up a good point. Iowa State plays on natural grass. This game is played on natural surface. Do we have a natural surface practice facility?
Ooh.
Or is it the women's soccer field now? I think there's one.
I think they've been. I think I've seen them practicing on grass. I think they do have grass on the outside one.
There would have to be.
The indoor one is not grass.
I see. I'm not sure if that's indoor outdoor turf there. On the east side, and then maybe still a grass field over by the soccer complex. I don't know. I have to check that out next time we walk in there. But yeah, I like the Cats on the money line, and I like the Cats under 49.5. So, Cats by 90.
Yes.
That's going to bust my bet. no doubt. You're right, though. The temperature should be great, man. The crowd should be, I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be like a bowl game, right? 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of rich corn farmers and wheat farmers that have been living on government subsidies for decades. So, hey, man, take that money, hop across the pond on those lily pads real quick. Rain will be a factor if it happens. I think, if I remember right, the Northwestern Nebraska game, it rained. One of these games in Dublin, it rained. Last couple years.
I think it was Northwestern Nebraska.
And it no doubt factored into it. One team may have not even been prepared, if I remember right. It didn't have long enough cleats to start the game or something. I had to switch them out at halftime. But Avery Johnson's legs are lethal. He'll have the right cleats on. Can he read cyclone coverages and make intermediate throws? How many rushing yards for Avery?
Avery, I want him to get 55. All he needs.
Anything between
55.
50 and 100 with complemented by Dylan over 100 would be outstanding. I agree. So look for Avery to go somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60, I would imagine. And we don't count negative yardage for sacks, or is that just pros? Anyway, Rocco Beck's arm is legit. How many yards for Avery before we get to Rocco? Oh, in the air.
In the air?
In the air.
In the air.
Fire that.
I want 250. I want 250.
250. Man, if Avery throws for 250. If he has
at the end of the year last year,
we are winning this game, no doubt.
At the end of the year, he was thrown for around 250 each game at the end of the year.
You just had me flashing back to the Nebraska 98 game when they showed Michael Bishop's stats in the fourth quarter, and I think he had over 400 yards, over 300 passing, over 100 rushing. That can be you, Avery. That can be you.
All right, Rocco Beck.
Yeah, tell me about
arm is legit, but can he handle K-State's disguised blitzes and pre-snap movement?
Rocco Beck. Rocco Beck can handle it. He's poised and behind center, no doubt. He's got experience. He's played in a championship game. He's played in a big bowl game, won it. Rocco Beck is going to be a formidable opponent, and our defense is going to have to be ready to match their schemes. But I think we can handle it. I think we're going to win up front, and if we can put some pressure on them and force them into a couple early mistakes, that changes the whole trajectory of the game.
All right. Running
what
backs.
Do you got? What do you think about Rocco Beck?
I don't like him. That's it.
Either.
Next.
Hold on. Well said. All right, Dylan. Running backs. Dylan's a speedster. He's going to test out Iowa State's front seven early. Look for zone reads and counters and mesh garbage. Will he be split out wide? Dylan Edwards. We going to split him out?
I hope so. I would love for him to split out into the slot. I just don't know if it's going to happen. We're probably going to be looking at more like
hit him on the jet.
Yeah, maybe. Well, nah. That's probably Jason's job.
You got to take a jet to Dublin, man. You can't drive the semi all the way through the ocean. There's no channel under the Atlantic.
No channel?
No.
We'll probably see him get, the underneath routes and maybe some wheel routes. I'm hoping a wheel route because he is fast.
Love the wheelies.
And get past those guys.
Sir.
So let's hope for that.
Yeah, and he's from Derby, man. Green is magic. There's going to be plenty
green
of green.
Is magic.
Plenty of green in Derby and Dublin.
All right, what about Iowa State's Sama? He's got burst. If he gets to the second level, it's lights out. Watch for the swing passes and misdirection. What do you think about Abu
Sama III? I think we should be more concerned with Carson Hansen. I think that there's going to be a lot of focus on Abu Sama because of what happened 2 years ago. But if Carson Hansen gets loose, then look out. It's going to be a long day for K-State defense.
Yep. Let's move to wide receivers. Let's try to close this out.
Yeah. Jace Brown and tight ends need to win one-on-ones, right? Jace Brown, those tight ends, they got to win those one-on-ones. If they do, it opens up the whole playbook. How does this open up other options?
So, Jace Brown, if he plays like he played last year, which he had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Outstanding.
That's going to open up everything. That's going to open up That's going to open up our tight ends. So if we can get our tight ends over the middle catching the ball, if we can get Jace Brown running those fly routes catching the ball, then our run game should be easy.
Yeah, I hope those tight ends are open, but just not too loose.
And
catching the ball.
On top of that, man, like that gives the openings for Sterling Lockett.
Yes. I think that will open up other positions in that manner. Sterling Lockett, the legend, like the legend of Slammer. Do you remember Samuel Lemire? Do you remember him?
I do remember Samuel Lemire.
Did he ever get to play?
Yeah. What?
Elamure played more though. Did he?
Emmanuel Lemire.
Yes. Guess we'll never know. Slammer. Anyway, Jace Brown tight ends. They got to win those one-on-ones, man. It's going to open up the playbook. Of course, the running game. That's going to open up the playbook too. If we're in third and longs, second and longs, it's going to be tough.
I don't think we need to. We can't forget. We can't forget Antonio Martin Jr. either. If we're really open up the running game and we want to save our legs, this Antonio Martin Jr. guy is big. He's a 4-star out of high school. I think he can make a really good impact on our team as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, Sowell and Xavier Townsend, vertical threats. If Beck has time, they'll take shots downfield. Will Kansas State's secondary be able to defend the deep ball?
Well, let's hope so. Hopefully, like I said, the front seven can put enough pressure, front six, I should say, can put enough pressure on the quarterback. I don't look for us to bring more than 4 on most downs, but I'm sure Kleinerman's going to mix in some 5 and even 6 and, man schemes here from time to time to get after the quarterback. We'll see how he mixes it up. Do you think Clandy's going to call a 5 or 6 man rush on third down if we get him into a potential 3 and out in the first series?
For sure.
Yeah, I would hope so.
He's pretty. I think he's pretty risky.
Gotta have that mob mentality.
And I love that mentality.
That's what opens up the secondary to play center field and get those interceptions. So we'll see. K-State's VJ Payne, he's a tone setter. Speaking of the secondary, we're going to expect him to blitz, bait throws, lay the wood, especially. Bring the pain.
Mm-hmm,
Will VJ break out on not only the Big 12, but the national scene this season for the mob defense?
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
My favorite player, VJ, will break out this year. He will be the best player on our defense. He's going to have 6 interceptions, and he's going to be the leader back there.
6 picks, I like it. If you hit a 6-banger on Prize Picks this weekend, then hit me up, man. Put me in the trust.
Let's hope he has an interception this game.
Stay tuned. Iowa State's linebackers are disciplined. They'll spy Johnson and clog passing lanes, but can they keep up with motion-heavy sets? Yeah, we're going to throw a lot of I don't know, what's the word for it?
A lot of
slip in my mind.
Audibles?
No, like when you dress
Motion.
things up, to make it taste better. Or like eye candy, I guess is what they use. But we're going to throw a lot of that sort of stuff at them. I hope that in the process of doing that we don't shoot ourselves in our own foot by committing foolish penalties and just not being on the same page since the first game with a more formidable opponent than you're used to in week 0 or usually week 1. So, yes, those linebackers are disciplined. They did give up 188 yards a game last year. I hope that we can utilize all our backs, Avery included, to get at least 200 yards rushing in this game. 250 would be better. 300 and we definitely win.
All right.
Did you know that Kansas has deep Irish roots? Did you know this?
I did not.
Yes, there are towns like Emmett and St. Bridget. They were settled by Irish immigrants. Yes, farming grit and pride. It's everywhere across the Sunflower State. Ad Astra per aspera. I probably butchered the shit out of that, so go ahead and cut that out.
Ad aspera per aspera.
Yeah, something like that. Add an aspirin if you drink too much Guinness. Tell me about Iowa. Tell me about Iowa.
Shout out Emmett and St. Bridget there.
Yeah, my bad.
If you're watching from there.
Do you know where those towns are?
I've never heard of Emmett and St. Bridget, but shout out if any of you are listening.
No, I have not heard of those towns either, but apparently one of these AI bots has. So let's move on.
Yeah, Iowa, same story. Irish settlers shaped the land and the culture. This game, it's not just about football, it's a homecoming.
It is. We love potatoes, and all
Yes.
Americans do, especially the fried kind. I prefer baked potatoes personally, but that's just me. Put some butter on there, some chives, maybe some bacon. It's all good, man.
Two Midwest teams, one Irish battlefield, Farmageddon, from Manhattan to the Motherland.
How do you
That's
think
it
that?
for
How do you
what?
think that guy feels? The guy who came up with Farmageddon.
He feels great.
Isn't that a guy that used to be on GoEma or something?
I don't know.
He's probably just on a beach somewhere right now, just basking in the glory of knowing that he gave the name to the most important rivalry in the history of college football.
All right, that's it for this episode of Paw'dCats Sports. Whether you're watching from Manhattan, Ames, or a pub in Dublin, this is one for the history books.
Go Cats. Win the dang day.